Daggerheart. Daggerheart. Daggerheart, come and me want to go home. God help me, I have a copy of Daggerheart. Daggerheart, come and me want to go home. Hello and welcome, my nerds. As promised, we are back. We're back in the exciting world of the Heart of Daggers. That's right, thanks to our friend Michael Davis, we have a copy of Daggerheart. Well, not a physical copy, but a PDF copy, and I'm assuming he paid for it. So thank you, Michael, for Daggerheart. As promised, I've been complaining about Daggerheart based upon other people's reviews of Daggerheart and my initial review of Daggerheart when I first got the playtest way back when. But, you know, I have to say, if I'm going to keep talking smack about Daggerheart, I should at least take a look at Daggerheart. So I'm getting the name wrong. I'm sorry. It's Daggerheart. Daggerheart. All my experience, Daggerheart. So let's take a look at Daggerheart from our good friends and neighbors in Calabasas, Darrington Press. So what are we going to do? We do the same thing we always do. We look at a brand new system. Does it have a character record sheet? Blam. Blam. Nope. Here's the stupid cards. There are 30 pages of cards, 10 cards to the page. You can get the cards as a separate PDF if you're looking to replace them like I am. So figure if you wanted to print out all 30 on cardstock, average 40 pieces of cardstock pack on Amazon was about $5 to $7 when I looked them up. So, and you're probably going to need a fresh thing of ink, which is what, $22, $23 if you want to print out the whole thing. If you just want to print out one card because you lost Death Deceiver or whatever, it's just basically would be the ink and then the cardstock. But if the concern was, can I replace them when lost? Yes, you can. And as I said yesterday, I'm betting there'll be Etsy specialty decks and stuff like that, and they'll probably start making their own specialty decks. But we don't want to look at that. We want to look at this. So here is a character record sheet. All the thingies. It's hard to read for some reason. Let's see if I can increase this. Hello? No. Is there a way to make this bigger? No, I guess not. Okay. So stats, armor. Somebody tried to talk me through this a long time ago. I don't remember who it was, but yeah, we made a character. Active weapons, active armor, inventory, class features, hope and fear. Remember the hope and fear, right? So you could have hope and fear and fear, or fear and hope. And that's how we justify criticals and failures on the system. So a max critical would be hope with hope. Well, you hit, but would be hope with fear. A failure you could walk away from would be fear with hope. And a failure where you're like screwed is a fear with fear, right? And fear is what the DM gets to use to mess with you, and hope is what you get to use to mess with the DM. The system is, at least was when we first looked at it, broken to favor you getting more hope than the DM getting fear, because the chances of DM getting fear points to use against you was much less than your ability to generate and keep hope points on your side because of the way the character system is and the mechanics are built. Don't know if they've changed that. Also, the initiative system is pretty much non-existent. But we do know there's a character record sheet. So, having looked at a couple systems this year, we looked at Horde Wars, right, yesterday and on Monday. So we know we could make Guy with Spear. We looked at that system whose name I won't mention by that guy whose name I won't mention, which was awful and is still awful. Yes, I paid for it. So I couldn't make Guy with Spear. So let's see. Can we make Guy with Spear? What is the first D&D character you ever made? Guy with Spear. What is the most recent D&D character you ever made? Minotaur with Spear. Though that came ended, and we're going to be starting a new one. And so I've already tossed it out. Cleric with Spear. I want to play Cleric, Kid with Spear. But we don't know, because last time it was pre-generated characters, and since he's working on his new project, it might be pre-generated characters again, which means the return of the Minotaur assassin, worst assassin ever. All right, so welcome to Daggerheart. What is a tabletop role-playing game? I know. What is the heart of the game? That it only works if it's being played on cinema. I mean, role play, safety lines, blah, blah, blah. Art, touchstones, important moments, and then things where he got references from. Core mechanics overview, which is really hard to read for some reason. There's got to be a way to make this bigger. Right? Isn't there? There's got to be a way, right? Oh, there we go. Can you read that? I can barely read it. Well, that's my first problem with this. I can barely read the PDF. What did you use? Like Super Teeny? Of course, referencing. Weird that referencing Blades in the Dark is this farther down. All you did was copy Blades of the Dark to make this system, which was a copy of Powered by the Apocalypse, which was a copy of blah, 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 blah. There are no unique original ideas. I mean, Horde Wars is one of the most unique ideas I've seen in a long time. So congratulations there. But, core mechanics overview. You're rolling D12s. You add or subtract bonuses and minuses. Your goal is to obviously succeed over whatever the game master has to move it forward. We talk about sessions and campaigns. So far, so good. Golden rule, be nice to each other, and the DM is always correct. Rulings over rules, the DM is always correct. The DM may not always be right, but the DM is always correct. We've done that one before. What is the difference between always correct but not always right? The DM is always correct, which means if he makes a ruling during the game, and then later on we find out that ruling was wrong, you call him out after the game, and then hopefully the DM fixes the mistake, but you don't call him out during the game because the DM is always correct. Unless, of course, he asks you, like I ask Mike all the time in my game when I get things wrong. More art. What you need to play. Players, game master, dice, D12, and then a bunch of other ones. 2d6, 2d12, 3d8. Pick a lane. You should either have focused on one or two dice or just said, yes, we're making a D&D clone. Because adding all the rest of the dice sort of takes away your uniqueness of using 2d12. Whatever. Stupid tokens. Okay, tokens are, 50-50 on tokens. They're a great way to represent, like life and magic and stuff like that. Again, what happens if I lose them? But they're easy enough to replace. I used to use M&Ms as the tokens. So every time I lost a life in magic, I was like, oh no, I lost a life. Crunch, 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 crunch. But then people were like, well, what if you get life back? You just ate all your M&Ms. I was like, oh, I guess I got to buy more M&Ms. I don't have the fortitude to do that anymore, but whatever. Game cards. We've talked about the game cards. I still don't like it, but at least we know they can be replaced. Character sheets and notes. Sure. Maps and miniatures. Why not? If you can do theater of the mind, great. Me, I love the props. I love maps. I love props. I love figures. I love diorama. Probably it's just the kid in me, my love for model railroads and toys. If I see a well built diorama, that's more interesting to me than the actual game. I just want to go through and look at all the details, but then I'm weird. Spotlight, blah blah blah. Address the characters, hold on gently, make your table safe. Session 0 and safety tools, blah. More art. Obviously this game is non-human specific. World build. So there's the generic Daggerheart world, and then there's some suggested worlds or frames. I really like that idea. I'll be presenting that idea in the next project that I print out, is just suggested frames. Like, here's a suggested idea. Here's a different one. Here's a different one. But here's also rules to make your own. I kind of did that with Pog Wars. I'm definitely doing it with the next project, 2 projects I'm working on, where you can not only have a generic presented world, but some ideas. So I really like that, guys. Hopefully more games will do that. Blah, 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 blah. When do we get to character? Okay, so why are your pages not numbered? What is it with people not numbering pages? Number your damn pages. Getting started. Blah. Choose your class. Okay. Fighter. We've got Bard. Nope. Druid. Nope. Guardian. Which I think is their version of fighter. Stalwart. Guardian Stalwart. That would be Kid and Spears, I guess. We got Ranger. Now we're doing Kid and Spear. We've got Rogue. Nope. We've got Seraph, which I guess is their cleric. We've got Sorcerer. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Warrior. All right. Kid with spear. So we're going to be human, kid with spear. And it looks like we've got Call of the Brave or Call of the Slayer are our 2 warrior abilities. Call of the Brave, if you want to use the might of your enemies to fuel your power, that feels more like a barbarian. Call of the Slayer, if you want to strike down adversaries with immense force, that sounds like kid with spear. Then we got Wizard. All right, so we've picked that. Now let's pick our heritage, human. Now let's pick our community. We got Highborn, Loreborn, Orderborn, Ridgeborn, Seaborn, Slyborn, don't know what that means, Underborn, Wanderborn, and Wildborn. Underborn, isn't it the blah, 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 blah. And we got languages, human. Character traits, agility, strength, finesse, instinct, presence, knowledge. So agility is self-explanatory. Strength is self-explanatory. Finesse is accuracy, stealth, or control. So gross and fine motor skills. Instinct is your keen sense of your surrounding and your natural intuition, danger sense. That's always a hard one, Insight versus perception. Presence, that's your charisma. It's not necessarily what you look like. It's how well people react to you. You can have an incredibly high charisma and not be very attractive. You can be incredibly attractive, but the minute you're around people, your people are like, ugh. And knowledge, so how book smart you are, what you know, as opposed to raw intelligence. I think Mercer did a talk about raw intelligence, player intelligence versus character intelligence. Like, it's very easy to play a character that's dumber than you, that doesn't know things you know. It's very hard to play a character that's smarter than you, that knows things you don't know. Like, I could play Steve the tailor pretty well. I know how to do tailor stuff. I know how to fish. I know how to survive in my medieval village. I don't know how to drive a car, right? But it'd be very difficult for me to play Steve the rocket engineer because I don't know the first thing about rockets. I'd just be like, I roll rocket engineer. I roll brain surgery. So yeah, knowledge over intelligence. I like that. And then how do you build a character? We get modifiers. No dice rolling. You get a +2, -1, +1, a +1, a 0, 0, and a -1. All right, well, we're putting our +2 in our strength because we're a kid with spear. And we're going to put our +1 in, where's health in this game? There is no really health in this game, huh? I guess we'll put it in our agility. And then we'll put our other +1 in finesse. And then we'll put our 0, 0 in instinct and knowledge. And then put our -1 in presence. I'm a kid with a spear. Nobody really cares. I'm one of many. We've got secondary character record sheet stuff, evasion, hit points and stress, types of weapons we can choose. I'm choosing a spear. What type of armor I get to choose? I'm choosing whatever they give me when I sign up in the militia, probably leather or chain. I've got my leather armor. I've got my spear. I've got my shield. I've got my dagger. I've got my pot helm. I am ready. Let's defend the village from orcs. Choose your starting items. Does this use gear slots or old school encumbrance? I really love gear slots. I know it's kind of a cheat, and some of the gear slots math, when you really get into the gear slots math, it doesn't make sense. It makes less sense than normal inventory. One gear slot can hold 60 coins or one sword. One gear slot can hold 60 coins or one arrow. 60 coins is more than a sword. But yeah, so what does this use? Anyways, I get to pick one. 50, torch, rope, basic supplies, money, healing potion. I should not start with a free magic item. And then whatever is suggested on my character sheet. So I'll take a torch. I'll definitely take my 50 feet of rope. I'll definitely take my tinder items. I'm not going to take that because that's not fair. I'm first level. I'm some kid with a spear signing up for the militia. Why would they give me a healing potion? Create your background. Kid with spear. Create your experiences. Kid with spear. Militia. Village is getting attacked. I'm the third born. So firstborn gets to inherit the land. Secondborn is married off. Thirdborn, sorry, join the priesthood. Sign up with the militia. Join the mercenary crew. I love you, but, you know, by the time you're like the 8th born, blah, blah, blah. Using experience. Well, I don't have experience yet. I'm a first level. Choose your domain cards. Okay, how do I do that? I still don't know how to make an actual character yet. Just a lot of fluff and nonsense. How do I make Kid with Spear? Oh, well, here we have example character of Sorcerer. So our Sorcerer has got an evasion of 10, an armor of 3, an agility of 0, strength of -1, finesse of +1, instinct of +2, presence of +1, knowledge of +0. So I guess because Sorcerer, you don't really need to be intelligence-based. Sorcerer, I guess, is like sorcerers in D&D. Why does there need to be a difference? Their minor abilities that they already have. They took his leather armor and a thing and a staff. Okay, great. Thank you. How do I make my character? Domains. I get, what is these? Arcana. Nope. Grace. Nope. Blade. Probably. Midnight. Nope. Bone. Probably. Sage. Nope. No. 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 Oh, Valor, domain of protection. I could take Blade and Protection. Do I get 2 of those? If not, I'm just taking Valor. Here's some art. I don't care. How do I make my fighter? Reading domain cards. Okay, blah, blah. I would read this once I know what domain cards I'm going to get. How do I make my character? Class. What page are we on? We are on page 27, and I still do not know how to make a first level character. That's not a good sign. Which was one of my issues with Horde Wars, though I do agree with Blackwell that you want to understand the system as quickly as possible before you just dive into character creation. So I could see why he chose that design choice, which I have no problem with. I prefer the more linear introduction, character build, maybe a little fluff, second half of character build, maybe a little fluff, then all the, you know, hibbly working parts. But that's just the way my brain works, and your mileage may vary. I do think that if I'm 27 pages in and I don't know how to make a character yet, you've lost my attention. I know that's not true for everybody, but for most of us, I want to start playing as quickly as possible. I don't want to dither around. You know, we talked about session 0 earlier this week, and, you know, differentiating between the first half of session 0 and the second half of session 0. You know, if I'm more than a half an hour into building the character and I'm still not finished, then there's something wrong with the system, especially if the system has example characters like this one does. So I'm 30 pages in and you still haven't taught me how to actually make Kid with Spear. That's a problem. Maybe not to everybody, but to me. And I'm an idiot. So, okay, classes, right. All right, blah, blah, blah. Domain. We've chosen our domain. I get 2 domains. I'm taking Blade and Valor. Figure out my evasion. I don't know, 9. Figure out my starting hit points. I don't know, 9. Got my items, right? Spear, short sword, shield, leather armor, hat, rope. All right, blah, blah, blah. Bard. I'm not a bard. Blah, blah, blah. It's alphabetical, so we got to go. Druid. Nope, not me. What's this? Druid. Okay. Okay. Guardian. So Guardian sounds sort of like a paladin, but not really. Kind of paladin-ish. Then we got the Ranger, which no game has ever gotten right. Notice I'm not seeing a lot of humans. I'm not seeing a lot of humans in your game. then you got to have your sheep for your companion. You got rogue, my second favorite class. I do like my quirky skill monkeys. We got the seraph, which I guess is also a fighter healer. So is this their cleric class? Is this their paladin class? I guess. Or is this their priest class? Then we got the sorcerer. We've talked about how you should really, there should only really be 2 types of sorcerer, maybe 3, possibly 4, but definitely chaos sorcerer should be, you're an artist. You're just sticking your hand in the well and pulling out whatever. Psionics, I think we should just be sorcerer. Okay, here we go. Warrior subclass, domains, blade and bone. Blade and valor. I don't get a choice. Okay, I'll take bone if I don't get a choice. I want a choice. I want to take blade and valor. But if you're not going to let me, fine. I hope there's other ways to personalize my character, because I don't want to take bone. I want to take valor, blade and valor. I'm a kid with a spear. All right. So I get Call of the Brave. Play Call of the Brave if you want to use might of your enemies to fuel your own power. Nope. That sounds like more like a barbarian. Call of the Slayer. If you want to strike down adversaries with immense forces. Yes, stab them with my spear. My foundation feature is Slayer. You gain a pool of dice called Slayer dice. On a roll with hope, you can place a d6 on this card instead of gaining hope. Adding a dice to the pool, you can store a number of Slayer dice equal to your proficiency, so 1. When you make an attack roll or damage roll, you can spend any number of these Slayer dice, rolling them and adding the result to your roll. At the end of each session, clear any unspent Slayer dice and gain a hope per dice clear. Does hope transfer over from game to game? I guess we need to look at that. Does that really feel like kill with a spear? I don't know. It feels like they've more tried to diversify fighters. They feel less like fighters. It's like, no, I just hit people really, really hard, and I take a lot of damage so the other people in my party can do their job. I am a fighter. I got weapon specialists. I can wield weapons. Yay, I got martial preparation. You gain access to martial preparation downtime moved. Okay. Looks like a lot of extra unnecessary dice rolling. Background questions. Who taught you to fight? I joined the militia because the town was getting attacked and I was the third born. Well, at least it's the least amount of space, so fighter. All right, so boom. Doesn't really feel like a fighter. I guess the closest is Call of Slayer, but maybe I'm Call of the Brave. Okay, maybe actually I'm Call of the Brave. Courage, okay. Battle ritual, specialization, rise of challenge, mastery. Okay, yeah, and there's a lot of less dice rolling going on. So let's be Call of the Brave. We're a fighter with the Call of the Brave, blade and bone. It has taken us 23 minutes to get this far. Not a good sign. And then wizard. Okay, so we've got a character. We're ready to go. Let's see. How do I play? Oh, I got to pick an ancestry. Human. Oh, we get to look at all the funny races because we don't like humans for some reason. We got robot people. So, copy. We got dragon lizard people. We got dwarves. And apparently the dwarf females have beards in this world because why not? We got elves because we got to have elves. We got pixies because why? I don't know. Sure, why not? Because we need a flying race. But these aren't pixies because they can be as big as 7 feet tall. I want all the benefits, but I also want to be 7 feet tall. So I can wear armor. No. We got fawn, which are goat people. Why? Sure, why not? We got fearblargs, which are bovine people, cow people. Minotaurs. Oh, okay. So they're Minotaur peoples. That's not a fear bog, but okay. So we got goat people and Minotaur people, cow people. That's not what a fear bog is. You should have looked it up. But okay. We got fungal mushroom people. Hey, if I get hungry, I'm eating you. Do they get to teleport like in Discovery? Why would mushrooms develop a bipedal intelligent species that goes out on adventures when they're mushrooms? But sure, why not? We got Galapa. Oh, okay, Galapagos tortoise. We got turtle people because let's copy the turtle people. Turtles are cool. Only if they're teenagers and mutants who like pizza. We got giants. All right, yay! But you're 6 feet tall to 8 feet tall. So technically, my 7 foot tall pixie could be taller than my 6 feet tall giant. Noticing not a lot of humans here, guys. We got goblins, because yes, even though really goblins should not be a player character class, but yes. Now these goblins are too nicely dressed. We got halfling, because we got to have the Tolkien classics, and they are lucky, because apparently that's a thing that halflings are lucky. And finally, we've got the humans. Yes. Last but not least, because remember, modern day gamers, we hate humans. I don't know why, but nobody wants to play a human. Everybody wants to play an elf or a rabbit or a shark. My abilities are high stamina. I gain an additional stress slot at character creation and adaptability. When you fail a roll to utilize one of your experiences, you can mark a stress reroll. And we've got half demons because, yeah, why not? And we got cat people because got to live out all those cat girl fantasies, right? Who doesn't love sexy cat anime girls? We got orcs. Orcs should never be player characters. They're evil. And they can live up to 125 years. Name one orc that's lived 125 years. We've got ribbits, who I secretly love. I know most people are going to say that's stupid and there shouldn't be frog people as a player character class. But look at him. Look how derpy he is. How can you not love him or her or it? I mean, come on, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's yeah. I secretly love these guys. We got monkey people because sure, why not? Intelligent monkeys, intelligence apes. One of them's an evil and telepathic, and his name is Grodd, I hope. Oh, but that's not all. You could have mixed ancestry. You could have half human, half mushroom. That was a wild party. Half dragon, half elf. No. And we got communities where we explain all those things. Highborn, born to nobility. Okay, sure, whatever. We got lowborn, from a society that favors strong academics or political powers. So I was born to a family of teachers. Sure. We got order-born, discipline and faith. So a religious community or a cult, or just my family was very religious. Okay, that's believable. We got ridgeborn. So you're born in the mountains. Ridgeborn sounds like a last name, but sure, I was born in the mountains. Seaborn, born on the ocean, born on an island. We know I love pirate dinosaur islands, so sure, why not? Slyborn, you come from a group that operates outside the line, including all manner of criminals. So born to a family of criminals, raised in a family of criminals, raised on the less than legal. Sure, why not? Underborn, you were from an underground society like drow elves or mushroom people. You stepped out into the wide world and you went blind because you've never seen daylight. But okay. Wanderborn, you lived as a nomad. All right, sure, why not? A teepee that's also a balloon. I actually love that. It is completely unfeasible, but I love that. I love that idea. So nomads. All right, I don't have any wrong with those. Then we got wildborn, where you were born in the forest. Not sure how that's different than nomad born, but okay. You're from an elvish community. That would make sense. You're from a forest-based community. All these make sense. I just think the name doesn't really work. And then your feature for growing up in this. So since we're, a city-born, a village-born boy with a spear, I guess we would be Ridgeborn. All right. So Ridgeborn human, fighter, got a spear, got my sword, got my shield, got my leather armor. I'm ready to die. Adjusting abilities and spells. I'm first level. I don't think I have to worry about that yet. Disabled. Playing disability with purpose and respect. I am disabled. I do not want to play a character who's disabled. I have never met anybody who is disabled who actually wanted to play characters that were disabled. But okay. And we've got to dedicate 1, 2, 2. Art. A lot of wasted space. All right. 3 pages. Playing in a game. Flow of the game. Don't care. I want to go shopping. I want to know what my spear does. Ask questions. Blah, blah. Choose and resolve actions. Repeat the cycle. Making moves. Moves in combats. Don't care about this. We're still building our hope. Hope and fear. Well, we already know the system is designed for the players to be able to abuse the hope mechanic. DM definitely gets screwed. Players are going to always have more hope than the DM is. Now, the whole idea of hope with fear, hope with hope, fear with hope, and fear with fear. Name one time. I mean, first, part of me is like, name one time where you failed and you're like, I still have hope, but I guess you could be like, oh, well, the cave collapsed on us and we're probably going to die. But I still have hope somebody might save us. Look at those guys that were trapped underground for 36 days. I don't know what they were eating or where they were going poop, but hey, so I guess that could be fear with hope. And hope with fear would be like, I think the operation was successful, but we're going to have to wait to see. So maybe it's not as bad as we think. I think they just made it weird. And again, the system is broken to give you, the player, more hope than the DM will ever have in fear. And there's obviously abilities to abuse that even more. Blah, 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 blah. It's character building stuff, blah, blah, blah. How about adventuring? Pick an adventuring trait. Roll the dice. Resolve situation. Example action rolls. Failure with fear. Failure with hope. Success with fear. Success with hope. Critical success. Story consequences. Oh, broke your leg. Oh, special action. How do I buy shit? Damage rolls. Direct damage. This is a lot of information for a system that's supposed to be very crunch-free. I guess it's more crunchy than they leave on, especially with adding the whole tokens and cards and swapping cards. This is not a simple system. It is deceptively crunchy. Still don't know how to buy my spear or how much my damage spear I have does, or how much does it go to death. I can go with Blaze of Glory, avoid death, or risk it all. I want to avoid death. I'm always going to avoid death. Unless I'm a barbarian, then I might want to go with Blaze of Glory. Art, rounding up, blah, blah, blah. Additional rules. How about shopping? Player best practices. Embrace danger. Using your resources. Tell the story. Discover your character. This should have been at the beginning. Leveling up. Okay, I'm still first level. How much money do I have to spend? And how much is it going to cost me to get, my pot? Not cooking pot. Not domain cards. Cards. 2 pages. Oh, here we go. Equipment. We're on page 112, and we finally get to equipment. That's far too long for me to find out what I can do with my spear. But that's just me. Okay. Armor. I've got leather armor. What does my armor do? Absorb damage. Spear. It's a finesse weapon. It's very close. It's a D12 plus physical. It's two-handed. It's cumbersome. -1 to finesse. Obviously, this person has never used a spear. There's a reason why it's one of the simplest and most common weapons, because it's very easy to use. And we've got level 1 weapons with that weird names for them. And level 2 weapons. I guess these are like masterwork weapons and weird weapons and stuff like that. Level magic weapons. Okay. We love to know that we can buy magic weapons in this game. More ways to abuse the game. Okay. Oh my God. Combat wheelchair, page 122. Combat wheelchair. 1, 2. Pages dedicated to the combat wheelchair. I'm not even going into it because we've already discussed that. And we have wasted 36 minutes and we still have not finished building our character. So without even getting into the broken initiative and everything else, this is not a game, okay? It is not a game. It is a series of memes and stuff taken from other games. It's just sort of a hodgepodge of whatever is popular at the moment, but it doesn't work. It only works with you sort of use it as guidelines, but then you just sort of embrace the theater of the mind. We're just telling stories where combat sometimes falls out. It's very appropriate for the people who are demonstrating it. It's designed for Critical Role's actors to use a very loose frame rate to tell the stories of their games. But when you actually got into the nitty gritty, it's unnecessarily cumbersome for a game that's supposed to be easy. It's too reliant on gimmicks, and it's just sort of strung together memes that is depending upon the charisma of the people from Critical Role to carry it through its initial things. You know, a couple of weeks from now, people are already finding things wrong with it. The initial flavor is already wearing off. And once Gen Con's over and the Brandon Sanderson game's out, who knows? Who knows? So there's bits and pieces from here I like, you know, but those are just ideas they took from someplace else. There's nothing really original in this game. It basically embraces every thing meme about gaming from the last couple of years and sort of kitchen sinks them together and then relies on word of mouth. But I mean, yeah. And it's taken me 37 minutes to make a character where it should have taken me 10. Daggerheart. Daggerheart. Daggerheart, come and me want to go home. Thank you again, Michael, for sending me this copy. We will continue to go through this if you guys want to. Otherwise, that's it. See you later.